What difference do you see between these two videos? Besides the magnificent water show, notice the sky here. Almost no stars to be seen. While, on the other hand, the sky is full of stars. Why is that?
It's not like there are no stars in the city's sky.
Of course, they are there, but hidden behind a veil of city glow. This is light pollution. When artificial light brightens the night sky too much, it makes it hard to see stars and other celestial objects. Take a look at this mouse. When the room light is off, we can clearly see it glow. But watch what happens when I turn on the lights. Suddenly, it is much harder to see the glow now. This is light pollution in a nutshell. This is a problem that is least talked about.
You might think this is about missing out on a pretty view, but this goes way deeper.
To truly grasp the magnitude of what's being lost, let's take a step back in time. In the past, the sky was packed with stars, with the Milky Way stretching across the whole sky. This was not just pretty, it also served a purpose, acting like a reliable navigation app built right into the sky for our ancestors. One particular example is the Polynesian sailors. Without any fancy equipment, they could sail across the Pacific Ocean, which is absolutely massive by the way, just by reading the stars.
This connection with the stars shaped civilizations, but today modern technology is erasing this heritage.
It all started with one important invention, the electric bulb. This invention was definitely a game changer for humanity, but this simple light bulb has evolved into billboards and those super bright LED signs. We might have gone a bit overboard with this because they are the major contributor to light pollution. And as cities keep growing, it is only going to get worse. Now we have an entire generation who thinks seeing like 10 stars in the sky is normal.
If you think that, I have a bad news for you.
Over the last 100 years or so, the noise from our artificial lights has been slowly erasing the stars from our sky. It's disappearing faster than free snacks at an office party. If you look at the satellite images from the past decade and compare it with today's, you can actually see the Earth getting brighter and brighter. As a human species, we are naturally curious about our universe. And to feed this curiosity, we observe. But now, finding a good place to study the universe is a struggle. Observing night sky at the city is like trying to birdwatch at a rock concert. It's impossible. But this is not the only problem of light pollution. It has some far-reaching effects on our planets and our lives. But
before we talk about the effects, please consider liking the video and subscribing for more.
Back to the video now. Light pollution comes in 3 different flavors. First up, you have got sky glow, an omnipresent sheet of light, kind of like putting a giant lampshade over an entire city. Then there is glare, which is basically like when someone takes a flash photo right at your face. And finally, there is light trespass, which is exactly what it sounds like. Light going to places where it has no business being. The trio of these 3 create a perfect recipe that disrupts our view of the sky. But things are not limited to the view of sky. Birds that migrate or hunt at night, like the owl, often use natural light from the moon and the stars for navigation. But they get absolutely confused by our artificial lights. As a result, they are flying into buildings because they are following the wrong light signals, like they are relying on Apple Maps. Have you noticed all those insects on the lamp? They are supposed to follow moonlight, but instead they are getting catfished by a bulb. Not only that, many species have evolved biological rhythms that are synchronized with the natural cycle of day and night. The introduction of artificial light disrupts these rhythms, leading to ecological disruption. And what about humans? You know how your phone's blue light can mess with your sleep? Well, multiply that by like 1,000,000. Our bodies rely on circadian rhythms, which need the natural day-night cycle to function properly. When we expose our body to artificial light 24/7, it's going to disrupt the rhythm. Frequent disruption is linked to mood disorders such as depression and anxiety, also increasing stress levels.
So why do we do it? Why are we polluting our sky with artificial lights?
Have you noticed that darkness is associated with crime more often? So naturally, there is a thinking that bright light equals safety. So cities use more lights as the security blanket. We think if we make everything bright enough, all the bad stuff will magically go away. But that's not how it works. There's a study done in South Korea, and it turns out super bright areas don't necessarily reduce crime rate at all. In fact, sometimes all that lighting is about as helpful as putting sunglasses on a blindfolded person. But here's the good news, some cities are actually getting smart about this stuff. They are starting to use this cool motion sensor light that only turn on when someone is actually around. Not only does this save energy, but it also means we get to keep some of that precious darkness for the stars and all the creatures that need it. Not everyone is cool with letting our stars disappear. Some places are actually fighting back against this great light invasion. Have you ever heard of dark sky reserves?
They are like national parks but for dark sky.
These are special areas where people protect the darkness like it's an endangered species. And in a way, it kind of is. New Zealand's Aoraki Mackenzie Dark Sky Reserve is the one. Here, if you look up, you will see there is not just a few stars, it's the whole shebang. The Milky Way stretches across the sky, and there are so many stars it's almost overwhelming. It is like upgrading from an old tube TV to a 4K screen. It's the same sky but a totally different experience. The Exmoor National Park of UK is recognized as Europe's first international dark sky reserve. Not only this, there are some other reserves too. Here's the list. Reserves are one thing, but doing this in cities is like trying to eat soup with a fork. Cities are complicated. You have got safety concerns, businesses that want their signs visible from the Mars, and homeowners who think their porch light needs to be bright enough to signal passing airplanes. But one notable exception is Flagstaff, Arizona. They have been fighting light pollution since before it was cool. They have rules about light pointing down instead of up. Revolutionary, right? And they are picky about the kind of lights people can use. It is like having a dress code but for city lighting. And guess what? The residents can actually see stars from a city. Mind-blowing. Fun fact, this whole dark sky thing is becoming a tourist attraction. People are actually planning vacations around stargazing now. Cherry Springs State Park in Pennsylvania has become like the Woodstock of astronomy, minus the mud and plus telescope. These dark sky tourists are bringing their wallets with them. It turns out protecting the night sky is not just good for the environment, it's good for businesses too. We are at a turning point. We can either keep ruining our views of universe or fix it. Light pollution is not just an astronomical problem, it's affecting everything. Birds navigating by stars, your sleep cycle, and even energy bills.
The good news is we can fix it. Cities addressing light pollution are already seeing the results. If you want to help in this cause, start small. Swap the harsh outdoor lights with the softer one. Put lights on timer and close curtains at night.
Think about the first time you saw a star filled with sky. Let's ensure everyone can have that experience. Thank you for watching.